A NASCAR legend is gone. His fortune, his legacy, his name, all of it now rests on the shoulders of one woman and two young children. And the question the racing world is quietly asking is this: what happens when grief becomes destiny? Kyle Busch, a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and one of the most polarizing drivers the sport has ever seen, passed away on May 21st at just 41 years old. A pneumonia diagnosis spiraled into sepsis, and just like that, one of the biggest personalities in motorsports was gone. Now, according to legal documents filed in the wake of his death, Busch left his entire estate, every asset, every dollar, directly to his wife, Samantha Busch. A separate petition was filed to appoint Clifton Holmesley as the administrator of Kyle's financial affairs, which is standard legal procedure in situations like this. But make no mistake, Samantha is the one holding the keys to everything Kyle built over his career. Kyle Busch was not just a NASCAR driver, he was a brand, a business, a dynasty in the making. 2 Cup Series championships, more wins than almost anyone in the modern era. A personality that people either loved or couldn't stand, which in sports is often the most valuable thing you can be. Love or hate him, you watched him. The financial weight of that career, endorsements, team investments, merchandise, race earnings accumulated over 2 decades at the highest level, all of that now falls under Samantha's stewardship. But here is where the story gets bigger than any balance sheet. Samantha recently posted photos from a racetrack, not sitting in the stands looking devastated, but standing trackside with her 2 children, Brexton and Lennox. And she wrote something that stopped a lot of people cold. She said she made Kyle a promise in the hospital that she would do everything in her power to let their kids chase their dreams. And for their son, Brexton, that dream is racing. This isn't just a grieving mother's tribute. This is a succession story. This is the beginning of something. Let's be real about what we're watching here because it's layered. On one hand, you have the straightforward legal reality. A high-profile estate being transferred to a surviving spouse, that happens every day. What doesn't happen every day is a widow standing at the edge of a racetrack, watching her 10-year-old son grip a steering wheel and telling the world that she's going to keep that fire burning. Brexton Busch has been around motorsports since before he could walk. His father didn't push racing on him. By Samantha's own account, it was something they discovered together. That's a critical distinction. A forced legacy usually collapses under the weight of expectation. A shared passion, that's fuel. Now the risks here are real and they deserve honest conversation. Brexton is a child. The pressure of carrying his father's name into the sport that defined that name is immense. NASCAR is seeing children of legends attempt to follow their parents. Some succeed, most don't, and the ones who struggle often do so publicly and painfully. There is also the financial management piece. Samantha now controls a significant estate during what is, by any measure, one of the hardest periods of her life. She will need sharp advisors, a clear long-term vision, and the wisdom to separate emotion from business decisions. But here is what nobody should underestimate. Samantha Busch has been in this world a long time. She built her own brand, ran a nonprofit focused on infertility awareness, and navigated the brutal glare that comes with being married to one of NASCAR's most scrutinized figures. She is not unprepared for this moment. The promise she made at Kyle's bedside that she would protect her children's dreams is not a sentiment, it is a strategy. The NASCAR community's response to Samantha's post has been overwhelming. Fans who spent years booing Kyle Busch at tracks across the country are now rallying behind his family with a kind of unified support that the sport rarely produces. That's the power of grief. And it's the power of a story that people can see themselves in. Sports analysts are already beginning to frame Brexton as a generational storyline in the making. Whether that framing helps or harms him remains to be seen. But the narrative is already taking shape, and it's being shaped by a mother who knows exactly what kind of world she's operating in. Best case scenario, Samantha manages the estate with patience and precision. Brexton develops to the junior racing pipeline over the next several years, earning his opportunities on merit. He eventually reaches NASCAR's top level, not as Kyle Busch's son, but as a driver who happens to carry a legendary last name because he earned the right to stand beside it. Worst case scenario, the pressure of the legacy, the media attention, and the financial complexity of managing a major estate during an emotional rebuilding period leads to short-term decisions that compromise long-term outcomes. Brexton gets pushed into the spotlight before he's ready. The weight becomes too heavy, and the story becomes a cautionary tale instead of a triumph. The difference between those two outcomes? Time, patience, and the ability to let a child be a child first and a driver second. Samantha seems to understand that, but the world won't always make it easy. Kyle Busch built his legend lap by lap, win by win, with a chip on his shoulder and a gas pedal he treated like a personal statement. Now his wife is carrying that name. His son is learning to steer, and NASCAR's watching. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you believe Brexton Busch has what it takes to one day race at the Cup level? And if he does, will the sport ever let him be judged on his own terms? Or will he always be measured against a shadow? Drop your take in the comments below. This is one of those conversations worth having. And if content like this is what you're looking for, no fluff, no filler, just real sports analysis, SportsWire USA is where you need to be.